right, if you would, find the worksheet that was given in class called Special Cases, Vertical and Horizontal Lines. Today I'm going to show you the difference between the equations of a vertical and horizontal line, so that way you can recognize them. You will be able to write an equation and, of course, graph the line correctly. All right, so there's two special cases. One is the vertical line, and a vertical line is written in the form of x equals a, where a represents the line's x-intercept. So if you take a look, it's kind of hard to see this line, but here it is. And so if you find, in this case, we've got my a value is going to be 3, because I'm going to put a dot right here. You don't have to, but that dot is on the 3. So this equation is x equals 3, because it is touching the x-axis. It's not touching the y, so there's no y in the equation. That's one easy way to remember that. Horizontal lines, again, I can't really see my horizontal line, so I'm going to make it pop out for you. So this one is written in the form of y equals a, where a represents the y's y-intercept. So in this case, again, you might want to find your y point, which is -1. So this equation is y equals -1. Doesn't touch the x-axis, so there's no x in the equation. Again, that may be an easy way to remember that. All right, so super simple. If you take a look at these examples down here, it says write the equation of each line. So all you have to do is find the line, and if you want to, you can darken those lines so you can actually see them, but you can see the arrows there. And so then all you need to do is figure out where is it touching the axis and which axis is it touching, and that'll help you determine your equation. So for the first one, it's touching the x at 2, or -2, so my answer is x equals -2. Pretty simple. I told you it was going to be. So number 2, it's touching the y-axis, so y equals 3, because that's where it's touching the y-axis at. So you should be able to figure out the rest of these fairly easily. Just figure out where it's touching the x or the y-axis. If it's touching the x, then it's an x equals. If it's touching the y, then it's a y equals. So number 3, it's touching the y, so it is y equals, and it's touching it at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at -5. So that's the equation. Isn't that simple? So go through and give me an answer for 4, 5, and 6, and then you can unpause the video and see if you are correct. All right, so hopefully you have your answers. This one is x equals 1, 2, 3, +4. Is that what you got? Good job. The next one is touching both the x and the y. This was a little difficult, but because it's a vertical line, remember we have vertical lines, those are x equals equations. So my vertical line is x equals, and so it's touching x at 0. Remember, x equals are your vertical lines. And then number 6, you should have y equals 2. So if you look at all the solutions here, all the x equations are vertical, all the y equations are horizontal. All right, so flip your paper over, and let's see what's on the back side here. Now we have to graph. Well, we already know that x equals are vertical, and y equals are horizontal. So this first equation is y equals -5. So go to the y-axis and put a dot at -5 and draw yourself a horizontal line, because it's going to go through. So you know that y equals a number is horizontal. X equals a number is vertical. So if you want to now, pause the video and try number 8, 9, and 10 to see if you get your lines correct, and unpause it and see how you did. All right, so -1 on the x, it's vertical. X equals 3, it's vertical. And y equals 8, it's horizontal. Hard time seeing these little numbers here. So how did you do? Did you get them correct? Easy peasy. All right, here's some extra questions for you. What is the slope of the line y equals 5? Well, we know y equals are horizontal lines. So if I have a horizontal line, what's the slope of all horizontal lines? That's right, it's 0. What about the slope of a vertical line like x equals -2? We should know that the slope of all vertical lines is undefined. And then x equals 0, again, that's another vertical line. X equals is a vertical line, so the slope is undefined. Remember, undefined are your vertical lines, 0 are your horizontal lines. Number 14, what is the difference between y equals 3 and y equals 3x? Well, the difference is this line is horizontal. It's got 0 for the slope. This line, the slope is 3, so it's not a horizontal line. So we need to now graph them, and so y equals 3 is a horizontal line through 3. So this is what that equation looks like graphed. Y equals 3x has a slope of 3, and there's no plus or minus, so the intercept is 0 for the y, so you start at 0. The slope is 3 over 1, so I'd go up 3 and to the right 1. And we practiced that in the last 2 days, how to graph a line given slope and an intercept. So that's the difference in those two lines. One is horizontal because the slope is 0. There's no x value. And then the other example is there is a slope of 3 and an intercept of 0. All right, so hopefully you know the difference. If I said that too fast, you can just pause the video and let that sink in a little bit. So that should have been pretty simple. Make sure you know the difference between a horizontal line and a vertical line. Those are two special cases. So study that and you will do fine. The next thing, your assignment for this week, or today actually, is the practice. It's like a quiz. I think it's called a quiz. It says Linear Equations Quiz 4-1. You're going to identify the slope formula, slope-intercept form, standard form, and use your notes to help you answer these questions, okay? So this is just a review on finding slope, rise over run, given 2 points, using the formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Graphing, that's what we practiced yesterday and the day before. That's slope and y-intercept. Plot the y-intercept first, then do rise over run. Solve for y first, and then graph. This one wants you to graph using the x and y intercepts. That's cover up and solve. And then you got 2 special lines. So use your notes to help you. This is going to be for a grade. Okay, so I'm picking this up when you guys come back to school, either Monday or Thursday, and it is going to be for a grade. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.